Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what is science and what is research, followed by what is philosophy of science. So, science is actually derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. And research is the production of new knowledge using scientific methods. So when we are doing science using research methods, then we also need to understand another concept which is called philosophy of science. We need to understand this because this is associated with different types of scientific methods and way of interpreting new knowledge and science. So first of all, what is philosophy of science? Philosophy of science is the study of the foundations, methods, and implications of scientific knowledge. So when we talk about foundations, we mean what is science? The belief of the truth, which is also termed as ontology. And then when we talk about methods, we try to say how to build scientific knowledge. And this branch of study is also known as epistemology. Then when we talk about implication, this means how scientific knowledge work and how we apply them in real world. So now when we talk about philosophy of science, there are many streams and many beliefs and many stances, but there are four major ones. First, Positivism. Second, Constructivism, which is also known as Interpretivist or Constructionism. Third, Critical Realism, and fourth, Pragmatism. So now we will go through all these four one by one. So first, Positivism. In a positivist view of the world, science and scientific research is seen as the way to get to the truth. And positivists believe that there is only one truth out there. Positivists are very concerned about the rigor and replicability of research, the reliability of observations, and the generalizability of the findings. They often use deductive reasoning for research, and they love experiments because experiments allow them to test cause and effect relationships through manipulation and observation. Even some positivists believe that the goal of research is only to describe a phenomena that can only directly be observed and objectively measured. For them, knowledge which cannot be observed or measured directly has no value, such as emotions, feelings, thoughts. These are not knowledge. On the very contrary, there is another philosophical stance, which is Constructivism. And it's a completely different approach to research and how research should be done. Constructivists criticize the positivist belief that there is only one objective truth. They hold exactly the opposite view, and they say that the world is fundamentally mental and mentally constructed. The world is about how we observe, how we humans observe the truth, and it could be different from context to context. Constructivists are particularly interested in how people's views of the world result from interaction with others and the context in which they take place. And the research method constructivists apply are mostly qualitative in nature. They focus on groups and unstructured interviews which allow them to collect rich data oriented to the contextual uniqueness of the world that is being studied. They focus more on understanding a specific case rather than generalizability of the findings. Let me make this clear with two more examples. So for positivism, when I say that there is only one objective truth, what do I mean? Think about hydrogen and oxygen. You mix them. You mix them in Norway, you get water. You mix them in Australia, you get water. You mix them anywhere in the world, you get water. But then think about social phenomena. As I live in Norway, I often think about this, that Australia is in the end of the world. And my friends living in Norway also have the same thought, that Australia is in the end of the world. And one of my friends recently moved to Australia, and after 1 week she made a post in Facebook and she wrote that what she learned living in Australia for 1 week is that Europe is in the end of the world. So you see, the truth can be different based on how people see it and how people view it. So this is why both of them are useful for different kind of research. And when these two are totally contrasting, then we have something in between, which is called critical realism. So critical realism is a combination of the belief in an external reality along with observations such as satisfaction, culture, motivation. So they say that there could be one objective truth, but critical realists also view it that we may not get to the truth, but we work towards getting to the truth, even though it is impossible to reach there. So they allow both of them. They allow both objective reality and contextual reality. According to critical realist viewpoint, measures of phenomena such as emotion, feelings, attitudes are often subjective in nature, and the collection of data is, generally speaking, imperfect and could be flawed. The critical realist also believes that the researchers are inherently biased, and they argue this is why we should do data triangulation. Actually, not data, they said that we should do triangulation of data and method. So we combine data from different sources, and sometimes we use multiple methods so that we get close to the objective truth and we limit for bias. And finally, we have pragmatism, which is kind of a final viewpoint, and pragmatists do not take on a particular position on what makes good research. They feel that research on both subjective, objective, and observable phenomena can produce useful knowledge depending on the research questions of the study. They focus on the practical aspect of the research finding. As long as the research findings can be applied and it solves a problem, it is fine. Pragmatism thus endorses eclecticism and pluralism. Another important feature of pragmatism is that it views the current truth as tentative and changing over time. So the belief that what we see as truth today may change in the future. And for pragmatists, theory is derived from practice and then applied back to practice to achieve intelligent practice. So overall, for pragmatism, it doesn't matter what research method you apply, what approach you take, as long as it can be useful for practice, they're happy. Along with this, for philosophical stances, there comes two more terms, inductivism and deductivism. Deductive reasoning is used to test a theory about a topic of interest. In deductive reasoning, we work from more general to the more specific. We start out with the general theory, then we narrow down the theory into specific hypotheses that we can test. We narrow down even further when we collect a specific observation to test our hypothesis. And then finally, we do the analysis of this specific observation, and this allows us to confirm our theory. On the other hand, inductive reasoning works exactly the opposite way. It is a process where we observe specific phenomena and on this basis arrive at a general conclusion. Hence, inductive reasoning, we work from more specific to the more general, exactly the opposite way. So, for example, the observation of a first, second, or third white swan may lead to a proposition that all swans are white. But then we keep seeing white swans repeatedly, and we can come to a general conclusion that all swans are white. But according to Karl Popper, it is not possible to prove a hypothesis by means of induction, because no amount of evidence assures that the contrary evidence will not be found. For instance, observing 3, 4, 5, 10, 1 million, 2 million white swans does not justify that all swans are white, because there is always a possibility that the next swan we will observe will be black or red or blue, something. That is why Karl Popper propose that science should be accomplished by deductivism, and that is why most of the studies we do start with a hypothesis, and then we collect data, and then we test them. However, despite Karl Popper's criticism on induction, both inductive and deductive processes are often used in fundamental and applied research. And indeed, many researchers have argued that theory generation comes from inductivism and theory testing that comes from deductivism are essential parts of the research process. So we cannot really ignore any of them. We have to adapt both of them. And sometimes some research do a combination of both of them, which we call abductive reasoning. That's all for today. So thank you very much for watching our video. If you like our video, please like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want us to make some particular video, please leave a comment. We will try to get to your topic as soon as possible. Thank you very much. You can join our Facebook page and have a look on our website at www.researchhub.org.